Afternoon. Welcome to the stage. Excited to have you all. I'm just curious, how many people are from Poland? Okay, a lot. Good. So I don't even have to. Well, I will. I will continue speaking in English. Okay, so the next talk is about Web3 marketing. We're going to talk about how communities, memes, and culture are shaping the market in the space. And we have Karolina with us. She's a growth manager at Uniqly. Welcome her.
Thank you. So there has to be at least one, at every conference, there has to be at least one talk about community building. So here we are. Thank you all for coming. So today I will tell you more about community building. And yeah, we have many talks about community building and about marketing. And still we have many projects that are faking stats, faking comments, faking likes, and paying other people to comment and using this whole info-fi and so on and so on. And they are thinking that this is a community building and that this is a proper way to do it. But well, we actually know that it's not. And this talk is not a tutorial, it's not a guide. The title is not a community building tutorial. I don't even think that a perfect guide exists. So what I want to do today is I want to challenge your thinking about communities in Web3. So I want to talk about how the real communities are born, what unites them, how they grow into a brand. And if you have a brand, then you can basically sell anything. So how they enable monetization. Okay, so before we start, I want to ask you a question. If you are a part of any community in Web3, and if yes, then raise your hand. Okay, great. I think the majority of you is a part of any community. And I have now a follow-up question, which is, which community are you in? So maybe you guys, your hand was, yeah?
Yeah, I think Mog for sure, a bunch of others, maybe more technical one like Symbiotic as well.
Okay, great. Any other examples?
Terra Classic, but you may know it as Terra before.
Okay.
Actually, we are both of us are part of a community called Book of Ethereum, and we are aligned exactly with what you're about to talk about. So thank you for doing this.
Final one.
Heavily quick. Okay.
3 auditors.
Okay, great. Great. Thank you all for those little insights. So yeah, now I have like a follow-up question, let's say. So are you part of a community of a Uniswap or Dex Screener or Jupiter? Not so many, right? I think no one. But we actually use those products. We use those products daily or bi-daily or weekly. And we are users, we are an audience, we are using those products, those protocols, and so on and so on. But we are not in the community of them. We are not writing tweets. I mean, if something frustrates us, then of course we can post some tweet, but we are not in the community. We don't know any like other users and so on. So it's just an audience. So what is the difference actually? So if you're an audience, then you're just a listening, you know? So for example, you are my audience right now. And for the community, you have to talk to each other, like people are talking to each other, they have common like ideology, common topics, they talk daily and so on and so on. And they are like a part of something bigger. They are not only using your product, but they are talking about it, posting about it, and it's like a culture. Sometimes it's even like a sect, but we will talk about that later. Yeah, so at the very beginning, I told that some projects didn't succeed in this community building, and they took some shortcuts. And what did the projects that succeed? Well, they understood that in order to build a brand, you have to build a community first. So in order to have like engaged users, engaged community, and so on, and later you can monetize it, but you cannot do it the other way around. And I don't want to just like talk about some obvious stuff. So I want to tell you 3 case studies today about the projects that, in my opinion, built a very, very great community. And I divided it into 3 categories. So the first category is personal brand. And the first example is Rect project. So you may know Rect from the RectGate NFT collection or from the Rect drinks, or you may know the founder who is OSF. They are also very present on many NFT conferences, so you may recognize this project from this. But it didn't start like instantly. And the founder first was a top trader at a trading desk at Barclays, which is one of the top banks in England. For those who are not familiar with traditional finance, being a top trader means that this is a very competitive job. This is a job that is very stressful, and the competition there is huge. So as you all may assume, he burned out pretty quickly. And during his boring meetings, he was drawing an art. So this is one of the pieces that he drew in his notebook. And also during his work, because he was a trader, so he was of course interested in making money, he found out about NFTs. And when he was drunk, he saw on Twitter that people are minting BYC, which is Bored Ape Yacht Club. And he also minted that. He minted 150 pieces. So he made a lot of money on that. And he also started to post daily on Twitter. He started to make his personal brand. He started to gather people around him. And people started to actually like him as a trader, as a person. And they basically liked his story. And what happened next? He saw a potential in this whole NFT stuff. And he decided that, well, maybe he will try to sell something. And he turned that doodle into like this NFT collection, but it was only like a one piece. So it was one-on-one NFT collection, and it sold, and he saw a bigger potential. But what he did differently is he didn't rush anything. He was doing things very, very slowly. And after 1 year, he did a drop of his own collection. And what is very, very important is that he had initial people that were very, very interested about him, about his personal brand. And then he decided to make this mint. And this mint was free, which means that people don't have to pay for having those NFTs. And right now they are worth around 10,000 bucks. So it was worth minting that. And he did it for free, so he didn't make any money. So as you can see, he was in this space for a very long time, and he wasn't making money on the people that were following him. He didn't monetize it instantly. And of course, after he did that collection, Snoop Dogg bought it, for example, and many other influencers. And it became viral, and it became very recognizable in the space. But what is interesting here is that people were tweeting about buying those pieces of art, not because it's great or something, but because this is a bet on a person. So they were tweeting something like, yeah, I like the vibe, I like the community, but what I like the most is the OSF in general, which is the founder. So he was a very recognizable person. He cared about his community, and people were betting on him by buying those NFTs. And 1 year later, he decided that this is the right time to start making money on the community that he grew. So he announced a Rect Drinks, which is like a drink without alcohol, without sugar, without caffeine, and so on, very healthy for, let's say, degens. And after a year of working on that product, he finally dropped those drinks. So from the time that he did an NFT collection, and here we have 2.5 years. So he wasn't rushing anything. He was doing things slowly. And if you maybe you saw some of those cans on Twitter, he did great partnerships, for example, with Abstract, OpenSea, Jupiter, Binance, and Base. And what is interesting here is that those, for example, Jupyter that I mentioned at the beginning, or for example, Binance or OpenSea, those projects don't have like their own huge community. They have a huge audience, but they don't have like engaged people. They have a lot of money, but they don't have like a people that will be very, very interested about every aspect of it. And by doing a partnership with Rect Drinks, they could actually gain some of that attention that was already in the community of Rect. So it was win-win for the both sides. And of course, Rect team and OSF could make a lot of money on it. And he did some great partnerships. Now you can buy it in 7-Eleven, for example. They made like millions of dollars, and they finally, after also at the end of the 2024, did a token, which also took a lot of time. It wasn't like a TGE in 1 month and let's go. It was very well planned. And this token actually was a present, a gift for the community, because everyone who had an NFT got this token also. So it was like a present for them. We as Uniqly also did a partnership with them, but I will explain you later what we do at Uniqly. So the key thing that I want you to understand from this case study is that you can actually build a brand from your personal brand, but you cannot monetize too quickly. You cannot make cash grabs. You cannot take money too aggressively. You have to build a brand, and then people will buy everything that you will do. If OSF right now will make a drop of t-shirts, or he will make a drop of shoes or cars or anything, people will buy it because they trust in him. All right, now a second example, which is a Pudgy Penguins. This is my favorite example. So Pudgy was kind of a random collection. They appeared in the middle of crazy bull market on NFTs. And it, of course, went pretty good at the beginning. Founder also take a lot of money on that collection. They were on New York Times and so on. But and people really, really liked the art. They liked those penguins. They like the vibes and the positive, impact. But founder wasn't taking, let's say, good steps, because he was making another project. During that project, he also made another mint of Lil Pudgies. So this is another mistake. He took more money from his community because he made money on that. And then later he made another collection that was supposed to be a gift for the community. And it was going to be a present. It was an egg with a ribbon, and people were expecting something very, very unique, and they were actually disappointed because it was just a fishing rod. And they were like, what is this? And also, instead of rod, they had a misspelling of rog. And rog is very, very similar to rag. And like there was a huge fad, community felt ragged, and the vibes were actually awful. And everyone expected Pudgy to like be dead in few months. Everyone was thinking that everyone will sell. And also Zach XBT, I think you may know it. He's like a analyst, let's say. He tracks some bad characters on crypto market. So he also wrote a thread about him, that he had some other projects and that he's not very honest, that he's taking another break and another break. He doesn't have any clear roadmap. He took so much money and he will just disappear. And you may think that this is the end of the collection. This is like a rag and that's it. But it didn't happen. And there are many reasons why it didn't happen. And one of them, and I think like the biggest of them, is that people actually fell in love with the art, but also with a community that was building during those times. So when you look at a Pudgy, it is very, very universal. So it doesn't have any skin color. It doesn't have any like specific traits. It can be both for people of any age. Oh, great. It can be for people of any age, any like skin color, any it can be for everyone, for women, for men, for children. And this is the thing that Luca also saw. And he thought that he wants to buy a collection. But by buying a collection, you do not buy any NFT, but you only buy like IP of this collection. Like you buy basically pretty nothing, but you can, let's say, manage the whole collection. So he made an offer to buy it for $2.5 million, which is a lot. And you may think why he wants to buy it. Like why? Because he could do it from the scratch, and with those money he could do great marketing and so on. But he didn't do it because he saw a potential. He saw that art is very, very unique and also universal. He saw that this is very inclusive community, that everyone can be there no matter what. And also he saw an opportunity that this is very, very universal IP, and that literally he can do anything with that. So he can do Web2 products, he can do digital products, he can monetize it, and so on and so on. But first he needs to rebuild the trust and rebuild the community. So he dropped of course, the deal was signed, and he bought the whole company. He made a clear roadmap, and he started achieving it one by one. So what we have here are the toys that are, I think 2 million of toys were sold. And for example, they are in Walmart, they are in Amazon. So it's pretty great success. Also, people who has a Pudgy that was transformed into a plushie, they can make some royalties on that. So it's also rewarding a community. So this is one of the first like monetization steps that he did and made a lot of money on that. Also, they didn't forget about the digital space and about Web2 space, which is very important to remember. So they did a GIFs, but they also did a viral Instagram where there are many, many reels, and they are very universal. There is nothing there about crypto. Even my mom once sent me this and she didn't know what is this, but it was just cute. So yeah, and this is one of the latest, I would say, achievements, because many brands thought that they will PFP this art. So they started to make a penguins with their own logo, and it was like a huge, huge trend, and every other company has it, and it was very cool to have it. So of course the floor of Pudgy went up and floor of token went up. Another project and another monetization strategy was their own chain. So they did a abstract chain, and it's more for gamers and so on. But they can also make money out of fees, because when you have a group of believers, then you can basically make anything for them, and they will be happy. So that's what Luca did. And they also, at the end of 2024, did a Pengu token and rewarded everyone. This was one of the biggest airdrops all time. So they didn't only give out tokens to their own community, but they also gave those tokens to people who used, for example, Solana and so on. So every other crypto user was could have this token. So they actually bigger their own community. Yeah, and this is the latest news. So they made it even to Wall Street. There will be an ETF on NFTs and on Pudgy. And this is the sentence that I think described the best this whole community, is that Pudgy Penguins is more than a brand. It is the face of crypto. And I think that even from the FUD, even if the project is near of collapse, even if founder doesn't care, if you have a few people that believe in you and that like the project, then it is actually it is possible to recover and to be even the best community in Web3. So if you think that a project is equal to founder, then you're wrong, because communities sometimes can take over a whole project and change everything that they don't like. Okay, and the last example, because I know that some of you may think that only those crazy images and NFTs and okay, and so Hyperliquid. Hyperliquid is a decentralized exchange. They dropped a product first, and they didn't have any investors, any VCs. They wanted just to let in the community. So of course, yes, they dropped the product first, but they didn't do any aggressive marketing. Then they only did like they have only few people, few testers, then more and more and more. And it started in 2022. And I think that most of you learned about it in 2024. So it was also very, very slowly. And there was this ideology, kill all taxes. So people were very, very frustrated about taxes, about locking some funds. And they didn't like this centralized way of doing things. So this is like a third category that I have. It's ideology. So of course it can be a personal brand, it can be art or something, but ideology is also like a strong thing that is keeping people together. So people thought that no, it has to end. We have to have a decentralized space. They also did a very big airdrop, and it changed the life of some of my friends and some of your friends also. So on this screenshot, you see like one reaction. And so they built a trust by giving out so much money. So they have even more and more and more users. And they had a token that is going very, very well. And they even did a EVM chain that has many projects. And what is very, very interesting is that this chain, there are builders. Builders are making money in like revenue. And instead of buying their own token, they are buying Hype token because they are so convicted about Hyperliquid. If you have Twitter and you're in this community, then it's all the time like G-Hype, Hyperliquid, Hyperliquid, Hyperliquid. It's almost like a sect. So it's of course a great product, but people are also very, very convicted. So you don't have to have a you have to have a great product, of course. But if there will be no ideology that people can relate to, then it doesn't make any sense. And now I have 1 minute, so I will briefly tell you about Uniqly. So this is a product, and this is our product. So if you have any item and if you want to give some items to your community, then you're just giving, for example, t-shirt, and it's very, very like boring. You lose a contact with your community. And if you want to stay in touch with your community all the time, you can give out a Phygital, which is an item made by Uniqly. So basically how it works, you scan your NFC tag, and you can put there anything. So for example, you have an event, and event is over, and it's done, and you give up some merch. But if you give out our merch, then you have a contact with your community all the time. You can put them, like for example, some photos from the event, or 1 month later you can say, okay, so everyone who has our merch now has $10 worth of tokens, and so on. And they have to scan, for example, once a week, once a day, once a month, and they are checking if there's something new. Yeah, and you scan it with your phone. You don't have to have any app. These are some of our clients, and if you are interested in any like partnership with us, then I am open to help you. And this is my Twitter. And I will be very grateful if you will give me a follow, because I am only 20 followers away from 1,000. So please scan this QR or text Web3 Karolina. And if you enjoyed this talk, then it will be a reward for me. Yeah, so thank you so much. And I hope that you learned anything.
Thank you. That was great. Do we have any questions? Like, we don't really have that much time, but if any questions are here, I can give one. Yeah, there is one. Okay.
So firstly, I appreciate you taking the time to speak about this particular subject. I think it must be addressed much more in the wider crypto community. But do you see a sort of trend shift towards building organically, building the right way, sort of focusing on the right path to take? Or are you still seeing personally that people are basically paying for likes and clicks?
Okay, so obviously I think that the InfoFi meta is hurting everyone. So you can have those yaps or snaps. I really like personally cookie-free project, but you have to earn some. You have to, for example, like, comment, and write ChatGPT posts, and you get rewards for that. So it is, in my opinion, very, very hurtful. And this is happening all the time right now. So I would say that the meta is not going to build communities organically, but I think that those projects that are using those, let's say, tools, they are in the long term, they will not make anything good. Like the token won't go up, like the app will not be used, and they eventually will not make any money. And in my opinion, building organically and building like from a scratch, building from a long time and also for a long term, it's the best way to do it. And other ways are just the wasting of time of everyone.
Fantastic, thank you. Do you think, just on top of that, that maybe the focus is simply too much on number go up in the immediate term because people have far too much of a sort of dopamine
I think that
addiction rather than let's build something for longevity?
Yeah, many people have like a tunnel vision. They have only one goal, and they don't see that if they will do things like, let's say, differently, that they may achieve more. They can make more money, because at the end, everything here is about making money.
More people make more money rather than the guys at the top very quickly.
Yeah, and the community will feel like they are rewarded and they are happy, and they are not like only cash grab victims.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Awesome. Thank you so much.